This is the men's room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The Trippers, the Grasshoppers, the Hip Ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
You're listening to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Better be.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Bush would be a tough last name to have.
If somebody wanted to know.
Yeah. All the Macholas joining now. We've got a few stations picking us up. 103.3 The Fort Rock in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Our listeners there. 105.3 The Bear in lovely Blacksburg, Virginia. Home of the Virginia Tech Hokies. And Rock 103 in Fayetteville, North Carolina. That would be the Fort Bragg location. So here's what we got for you today. We're going to talk about names. A men's room blank question, good or bad. When I hear the name or word blank, I think of blank. We've got Ryan Castle, the Drunken Charge, coming up to sit and spin. 10 best bands named after food of all times.
So I had just a few more comments coming in. It says, my brother-in-law's name is Aaron. He's kind of a D. My mom went to school with a kid. Her name was Rosie Butts. Guy, I knew his last name was Vest. He named his daughter Polly Esther.
Polly Esther.
Polly Esther.
Polly
Vest.
is not a good name.
I think if you're a chick, it's cooler than if you're a guy. Now, see, here's the thing with names. If you're a dude and you go by Paulie, I just assume you're connected to something I'm probably interested in but want to know little about. Like, hey, man, I want to score some PCP. You know what, man? If you talk to Paulie, like that's, I would just go to him because his name's Paulie. If I wanted some stolen car, that's what I mean. If it's a dude and your name's Paulie, and maybe you're on the level, but if I need stolen car parts because I'm up to no good,
Eddie,
I'm just right. I'm just going to call you.
But Paulie and like Polly to me are like different.
They're different. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, Paulie does illegal stuff and cabs
along with Vinny and Eddie.
Yeah,
but Ed is much different than Eddie.
Yeah.
Ed is a responsible member of society. Eddie is not.
Edward's boring.
Yeah,
Eddie,
that's why we call my dad Eddie.
Good or bad, when I hear the name or word blank, I think of blank, 844-999-OLA.
He introduces himself as Ed, but...
Yeah. It should be usually like Eddie.
Right, like that man's name is Eddie.
Hello, Tommy. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, the Jolas.
Hola.
So, my son, his name is Benjamin, and when he was conceived, my brother Benjamin was staying at my mom's house, and he left for a while, and me and the ex-missus, we went back over there and got frisky, and we didn't intend to name him after my brother. It just happened.
Wait, did you forget that your brother's name? I mean, how do you not realize that you're naming how do you forget that your brother's name is the same name that you're going to name your kid?
It just happened. It was an agreement. Well, you don't name a kid Tristan.
Yeah.
You know, like we went through the baby names,
right.
And it just happened. It worked. I was like, oh, all right, Benjamin.
I bet it did work because your brother's name, I assume you have the same last name. Like, wow, that has a real ring to it.
Mm-hmm. Well, Tommy, you realize, like, even with your name, you how old are you?
I'm 31. My birthday was yesterday.
Oh, happy birthday, brother. You've got a disappearing name. And MSN.com just did this entire list of 50 disappearing names that just, as far as the registry of how many babies were born last year with that name.
Right.
Believe it or not, Tommy is not that. I mean,
does that include Thomas and Tom? Or
it does.
Okay.
Bob. I mean, you'd be surprised. The basic names are just going away, and we see this with a trend as far as
sad.
If anybody can really get a grasp on this more so than anyone else, it's teachers. Because if a teacher's been there for 20, 25 years, or even 10 years, you'll notice the trends.
There's no more Britneys.
Man, if we get an Austin who calls here, the kid is 19 years old.
Dylan, Austin.
Colton.
Pilot, Hunter.
Right. They're all in that window. If we get a Brittany, we know that era. Mm-hmm. With the Madisons of the world. And all those different names. That are, some
they
are
go by Maddie.
And brought back around. But
my niece is Madeline. Goes by Maddie.
Goes by Maddie. Right, of course.
Goes by Maddie.
We understand. There was a moment, and it's a big snapshot. And it was like a 5-year window where a lot of those names, it's like, I know roughly when you were born. But again, I'm sorry, man. You come up with an agreement what to name your kid. And for the 9 months, how long did you know she was pregnant?
We found out, I think it was maybe 3 weeks.
Okay. And how long had you guys agreed on the name that you're going to name your son?
It took like another month.
Now,
but wait, so that leaves like 7.5 months, and you just never thought about your brother having the same name.
I'm sorry, what? Let me go inside. It's windy as hell out here.
I got you. Yeah, I'm saying for 7.5 months, it never occurred to you that that's also your brother's name?
Well, he's not my, blood brother. We just call each other brothers. Kind of one of those things.
You black?
But it finally clicked. We counted back, and it was like, oh, we did that on this day, and Benjamin is also my brother's name.
Well, let me ask you this. So does Benjamin think that you named your son after him?
Everyone thinks so.
Right, nice. But have you let him in on it yet? I mean, have you just let him ride with it? You know,
no, he's only 2 years old.
No, not your kid.
No, your brother.
Your brother.
Unquote.
Oh, no, no, he's oblivious. He just kind of goes with it. Okay. I'm pretty sure it's a little weird, but he's just kind of...
Well, yeah, it's weird.
I would just brag. Like, my name's so good, my brother used it.
That's what I would say, too.
Yeah.
The only problem is, and then your son grows up like, Dad, so you named me after Uncle Benjamin. Like, no, actually, I didn't.
Now, are you still with your with his mom?
No.
Okay. See, if you had foresight, you could have named him like every other weekend.
Right. Something like that.
I would have named him anything else, but it's just funny to me. So every time I look at my son, it's like, hey, Ben, hey, Benjamin. And then it will click like 2 seconds later. Oh, my brother.
I named you.
I would hate that.
I named you Al Imoni. Right. I can see the writing on the wall.
Al
Imoni. Why'd you name me Al Imoni, Dad?
Yeah, fine. Hey, let me ask you this: why do you go by Tommy as opposed to Tom or Thomas? I get.
You didn't drop the "my."
It's just too uptight. But yeah, why'd you stick with Tommy?
No. I've been flip flopping. I don't know why Thomas is spelt with a T with an H.
Thomas.
And
the fan and thought came up with that name.
Because you got the English muffin.
Sign my name, but Tommy I think it's more cute. I guess more because
you're a 31-year-old man. God damn it! Let me tell you. Look, it's not cute, but again, we're at the party. Who here has illegal drugs? Miles will say, "Well, there's Tom." I'm not going to bug Tom. Tom's probably a cop, and he's just here to have a good time. Well, there's Tommy.
I know a state trooper named Tom.
That's what I'm saying. And I understand. Yeah. He is there to drink beer, and he'll ignore what we're doing, but I'm not going to bother with my question because his name's Tom. But if you go by Tommy, trust me, man, not only am I going to roll up and ask you for the illegal drugs, I'm going to be like that weird fish that hangs out with the shark. Mm-hmm. I know you got drugs, man.
Well, it's a white person thing to do. We've talked about this for years.
I don't think Tommy has drugs, but Tommy has, he's got the tap to the
Tommy is the guy that you want coming to the party. Tommy's going to be a blast. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Bobby, he's like you do.
Bobby's going to be the same way. Bob is going to be more, like we said, if a white person shortens their name, it's just a different... They're a different person. They're a more serious person. They're somebody who, like in the black community, you get more of the full names. So you're not going to be Jim. You'll be James, or you'll be, you know what I mean, like whatever it is.
Or you'll be Mookie. Because understand one thing.
More traditional names.
But in the black community, it works like this, man. What your mother named you is what you will effing be called. And even if you disagree with that, your grandparents will reinforce that. Look, my brother flipped from his first name to his middle name because his first name is a girl's name, right? It's just that, so is his middle name. But either way, he dropped.
It's just manlier than his first name,
right? It's manlier, but it's a chick's name. So he dropped the first name when he was like 12 years old. We'd moved to a different city, so he started fresh, and everyone started calling him by the middle name. Mm-hmm. But every time he went to visit either one of my grandparents on either side of the family, when he would even say, "Oh, hey, I'm going by this now," it's not like it. The response from them, it was swift, it is merciless, and like, that ain't what your mama named you, I didn't want to call you. Right. I'm going to call you by the name that your mama gave you. And that's how it stayed. And they're not even angry. That's just how they talked, right? So he understood, like, look, man, when you go to visit your grandparents, so, like, in the black community, it would be disrespectful to go by a name other than what your mother named you, unless you go by Mookie, Peanut, Goofball, Meatball,
how about Mike today?
Speedy,
Mike was trying to argue that Mookie... I was like, he's got to be black. Like, there's no way that guy's white.
A white Mookie?
Right. He goes, I think it's like from Boston or whatever.
No.
Like, I was like,
a white Mookie?
Right. Isn't the most famous Mookie like the Mookie from Mookie, Do the Right Thing?
Mookie Blaylock?
Now, wasn't that the name of the main character?
There's
Do
a
the
guy-
right thing.
Right. Do the right thing. Mookie Blaylock.
Yeah, I mean-
what is this white Mookie? That's like Bigfoot. I'm not saying it doesn't exist.
We
but
talked
good
to
luck
a
finding-
white Tanisha today, man.
That's
Everything is
Tanisha.
possible.
Yeah.
There's no white Mookie.
I have more faith in a white Tanisha
than a white Mookie.
Yeah.
But I will say one thing to the Meteorological Society, man, and obviously we see the hurricanes are picking up strength and all this, and a lot of people don't evacuate, and I feel like on some level it's just subliminal. So you say, here comes Harvey. Well, other than Harvey Weinstein, most people don't feel threatened by something named Harvey. And here's a Category 5
Hasn't
thing.
been a good year for Harveys.
And Harvey is a bad connotation, right? And it does this damage. And a lot of people didn't evacuate. And I'm telling you, just based on how this country is, if you give it a black name, people will be scared to leave. If you say, if it goes up to Category 4, like, ooh, we got to switch it to the black name. She'd be like, Hurricane Mookie's coming. There'd be like 98% of the population would evacuate because what you said would scare them. Hurricane Harvey, Katrina, those aren't names that scared them. In retrospect, we understand Andrew, right? Floyd, all the bad ones. No one's scared of a guy named Floyd. But if you said Hurricane DeBrickashaw's coming, again, 98% of the city, they're going to get out.
Yep.
Like, use black names, man.
That would
It
work
makes
for
sense.
both communities, though.
Yes,
then,
it
like,
would.
Angry white people would be like, it was that goddamn Mookie.
They'd be happy.
But then other
was
people-
Hurricane Mookie came to
Other
here.
people would just be like, what happened to your house? Like, man, Mookie came through.
You know,
Yeah,
Mookie
yeah.
did what Mookie do. That'd have been the way it's done. And I'm telling you, I think there's something to it. Just if it hits Category 4 and you really need people to evacuate, if it's going to make landfall and there's civilization where it's going to make landfall,
Have us name them.
then switch to the
And
black name because
what-
people are scared
yeah.
of black people.
And
So
but-
if you give it a black, hey, Mookie's coming down. It could be a
That's
Category
it.
1.
You have to know where the hurricane's going to hit, and then you can name
If
it.
it's going to hit
something.
Mississippi, maybe it doesn't work.
Right.
Florida, it'll work. Louisiana,
Yeah, you can scare people
absolutely.
everywhere, man. Trust me.
I don't know. I feel like Mississippi like heard it all.
I'll tell you my working theory that I've been working on as far as always entertaining in the white community is the girl given the guy's name, but with an I instead of a Y.
I mean, Tony, Andy,
Tony, Bobby. Always hot. Always a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Always somebody who you'd really, really, really like to hook up with, but you know what I mean? I never got there.
If you want your daughter to be pretty.
I just remember all of the girls with guy names that I knew with the I, with the heart or circle at the end of it in my class. Oh, my God, they were
Little
hot.
did Miles know they were all dudes.
That's right. Good or bad, when I hear the name or word blank, I think of blank. 844-999, Ola, more your calls on the way. You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Coming up, Drunk and Charge, Ryan Castle into Sit and Spin, the 10 best bands named after food of all times. That is coming up. And today, we have a Men's Room blank question for you. Good or bad, when I hear the name or the word blank, I think of blank. 844-999-OLA.
One of the things we were saying just before we took a break was the name Mookie. We said no such thing as a white Mookie. You're not going to find a white person named Mookie, right? Then we get this comment. My son's best friend has the name of Mookie, and he's white as a color crayon.
I'll be damned.
Mookie.
White
Man, oh, man.
Mookie.
White Mookie.
Okay.
Sounds like a movie, doesn't it?
In the world. It sounds like an endangered species.
there was the white Mookie.
It sounds like a rapper.
One white Mookie left on the world.
Like 50 Cent new jam featuring White Mookie.
Yeah!
Told you anything's possible.
Anything is possible.
And don't worry, we're going to talk a lot of Mookie later.
Oh, Mookie. Hello, Guinevere. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola.
Hola!
That's an unusual name.
It is a very unusual name, and I get so many, preconceived, oh, you were named after this, you were named after King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table in Camelot. No.
Is there any other
No, I
Guinevere
wasn't.
we should know? I don't know any
yes,
other
actually,
Guinevere.
I was named after a Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young song.
Oh, right. Okay.
I've heard of the song.
There is a song, yeah.
But what is the song about? Tell me it's about Guinevere from King Arthur.
Well, no, it's about this girl who goes traipsing around in flowers, and she's all flitty and flighty all over the place, and she draws pentagrams all over, and
So were you happy
eyes and golden hair. And,
Were you happy to find out that you were named after that particular girl? No, she's flighty.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what? I never liked my name when I was younger. I would always go by Gwen. My name is Gwen. Don't call me Guinevere. But now, as I got older, I appreciate the name more.
I will say this: that years ago, one of the most beautiful women, stunning, that I'd seen in my life, she went by Gwen. Her name was Guinevere. See her like 5 years later. She got married and all this. And at that point, she was going by Guinevere, and somehow she just looked better. I don't even know how to explain. Like, she earned that name, you know, because you can't be ugly and be named Guinevere.
Yeah. Are you an attractive?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I think I'm very attractive. My husband says I'm beautiful all the time.
Well, he's your husband.
Hey,
Yeah, he's supposed to say that. It's in the contract.
Yeah.
No, that's actually not true.
Yeah,
That's not true at all.
I do get looks. I am a curvy girl, and I wear, clothes that make and accentuate the curviness, and I do get looks.
So if you're out, we can see your boobs.
Yeah,
that's basically what I'm saying.
The comment was before the Wendy with the big boobs. I did have big ones, but I actually got them reduced because yes, they are
uncomfortable.
horrible.
How big? Like, what kind of cup size are we talking?
They are. Double D. They were very. I had dents in my shoulders. I mean, it was very uncomfortable.
Okay, but you're getting an actual. Okay, look, I get if you're going to get an implant, they're going to put something in your body that's never been there before. It's going to be different and all that. But they actually have to take out a part of your body. So I would have to assume the pain involved after the operation is excruciating, isn't it?
Yes, I actually lost 3 pounds that day.
Okay.
And did you when they showed you like what you could do? Did you have like a model of like 3 or 4 different ways that you could take this?
Yeah, because they make it look like the boob you've always wanted, or is it just a smaller version of what you got?
I'm assuming.
They didn't set up pictures or anything. No, they just said, "What size do you want to be?"
And then what do they do with it? Is it used later for like dial soap? Is it used for something that can help a burn victim, or is it just complete waste?
No, it's probably a complete waste. I'm not sure what they took out. Probably just all.
Do they? Do you have scars? Do they go in under the arm? How do they do this?
Oh yes, yeah. I have scars, and I don't wear bikinis, so that's okay.
Don't worry, I don't either.
Yep. And all right. Well, let me ask you this:
if you're curvy, one pieces are great.
How does your overall health feel now that you've gotten rid of all that excess weight? I mean, is your back better? Your shoulders better? Your posture? All those things?
Yeah. Because I used to hunch. Because of all the weight, I'd automatically hunch my shoulders to make me look smaller. But now I stand up straighter. And this was 18 years ago that I had that done. So it's been a while.
And I guess
my size.
Did you do anything?
I buy normal size clothes.
But did you do anything like athletic? So like you can get the boob reduction, I get the pain, but like Miles was saying, he big boobed Wendy or whatever her name was.
Yeah.
She was into athletics to the point she became a gym teacher. So. They definitely are a hindrance. But in your case, did you start doing things you hadn't done before?
No, I was a stay-at-home mom, and I had 3 little kids. Almost one after the other. So
well
they
fed,
were just in the way, and they were just they were just horrible.
But look, you see that old woman, right? And she's got boobs that are on her lap. And
my grandmother.
And I know for a fact that when she was...
my mother, actually. I didn't want to grow up to be my mother.
Right, but here's the thing.
Another one.
Like, her boobs weren't like that her entire life. Like, when she was 20, you couldn't sit on her lap and sit on her boobs. So my question to you is, even though you had a reduction, do your boobs continue to grow, do you think?
I don't know. Robin, do you have any idea? Like,
you know
boobs
what I'm saying?
continue...
Like, even if you got a reduction, right?
But
because
it's not growing at that point. It's just gravity pulling down. So I think they still get tugged, right?
I would think they would.
Tug of gravity?
It's kind of like vision.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you might have, you go back to the eye doctor and your eyes keep getting worse.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But I'm with
I would
Thrill.
imagine so.
Like, certain parts of me hang lower. They haven't gotten bigger.
Right. It's just gravity just keeps tugging. So I would think her boobs are still going to droop. Just
They'll
like our
still-
testicles.
Yeah, they'll still begin
not
to
as far.
droop at a certain point. Obviously it's different for everybody. It's just genetics at some
Sure.
point. But
How well you fight gravity.
they could.
Oh, she got gravity fighting boobs.
I don't know.
Excuse
Hers, hypothetically, I mean, I'm
Mother
no
was an
doctor.
astronaut.
Yeah, I'm no doctor, but I would say, could get big again if
Yeah.
she gains weight. That's just how
Yeah,
it goes.
right,
like, if
right.
I lose weight, they go with that.
Okay.
Okay.
Ted,
Yeah.
could you imagine if you're an astronaut, right? You know how low your boys hang right now?
Yeah.
They could theoretically just be sideways hanging. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I could be playing the congos with them.
I think if you're in zero gravity, if you're up on the space station, right, and they're always wearing their suits and all this, but I think if you got completely naked, then basically your twig and berry, they just point
float
straight
out.
in front.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
they
they're
just
kinda
hang
like-
there.
If I'm a woman on the International Space Station, one of the things that I'm going to hate the most is gravity by the time I
Sports
get
bras.
home.
Oh, dude, they're all about the sports bras too. And they've even said it can get in the way because
they can float up and block your vision.
Well, I don't think people understand how tight the quarters on the space station. Like, it is a small place, but they're 5, 6, 7 people. And some of the female astronauts have said, like, you go a day, you don't want to wear the sports bra, whatever, but like your boobs are just sitting in front of you all day.
Mm-hmm. Like a tray that you could eat off of.
Yeah, exactly.
Good or bad, when I hear the name or word blank, I think of blank. 844-999-OLA.
Hello, Samson. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
Well, my name's Samson, and growing up, there was 2 movies that came out as a kid, so I already knew as soon as I go to school, I was going to get it left and right.
What were the 2 movies?
One of the movies was Dumb and Dumber. So during that movie, I don't know if you guys remember, they were trying to find out who the girl he was looking for that had the briefcase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the scene where they're reading the briefcase, he's like, "Oh, Samsonite."
So you became Samsonite, I guess?
As soon as I got to school, that's everybody calling me. I was like, I hated my life for a while.
Okay.
And then Half Baked comes out.
Yeah.
So
Samson.
So as soon as I get to school, I want to talk to Samson. And I'm like, oh, my goodness. And it's been like that ever since.
you can't shorten Samson either, can you? You can't
be
be Sam.
Sam.
You can't be. Oh, can you be Sam?
You can be Sam.
Or can you be Sam?
Like, media family calls me Sam, but if I introduce myself, I say Samson.
Okay, so Samuel or Samson could be Sam. Samantha
I don't
could
like
be
Samuel.
Sam.
I'll go by Sam, but Sam or Samson.
Okay.
You should have just gone by son. You call me son. My name's Samson. Everyone else goes Sam.
Good.
Well, it could have been
Samson
Bible.
the hair guy?
Yeah, it could have been Bible jokes about Samson losing his hair.
Yeah, did you ever have long hair? You balding now?
Oh, that's another one. Every time as a kid, where's Delilah? The whole Samson Delilah story.
Yeah, that's her name.
But that's where my dad got my name from. Catholic, got from the Bible, big, strong, cool name, I guess.
Most people go like Matthew, Gabriel, Peter. Your dad's like Samson.
Mm-hmm.
I'll name him Deuteronomy.
There weren't a lot of Mileses, but I get Miles Standish. Like, Standish, get in!
Yeah.
Coach screaming at
I'd
me.
go Miles Davis.
No, they always would Standish.
But see,
What's Miles Standish from?
God, an explorer maybe? I don't know who the hell
Something
he was.
like-
I'm not sure.
It's,
He was the
you know
only
what?
other popular name Miles at the time.
All right, again, and I referred to this yesterday. We talked to a guy named Franklin, which states this. And again, I hear the name Franklin, I think of the Peanuts
The high five.
Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah.
And the unspoken high five. Soul brother. But the other thing from the Peanuts Thanksgiving is that Linus, when he's going on, I believe it's the Thanksgiving, he brings up Miles Standish. And sadly, when you say the name Miles Standish, the only thing I picture is Linus
Franklin.
going on. Well, and then it takes me back to Franklin. And it's stupid. Because I'm sure Miles Standish did something that we should all know about historically. And it's
I doubt it. Probably somebody else did it before him. He just took the credit.
Took the credit, yeah.
What were we saying a while ago? Like, it's hard to like a Lucy without thinking like it's just a mean little girl that messes with Charlie Brown.
I also think of a dog.
That name took a while.
See, Lucy
Yeah.
to me is a dog name. And there's like, okay.
Oh, listen, man. The name. So I used to think, to be fair, I've come full circle on this. So Lucy, right? It was always Peanuts Lucy. So you're a mean little girl, right? Mm-hmm. And then as I got older and you learn about, I don't know, the first like human style bones. So I thought of Lucy, the little human ape. You know, it's like 3 feet tall.
Right.
Well, the thing is, Lucy has come back into fashion, and Lucy hit right around the same time I had my daughter. So in my kids, her first grade class, there are 2 or 3 Lucys, I want to say. And the thing is, all of these little girls are so sweet, it almost ruins it for me. Like she has a very good friend, Lucy, and she's so kind, and she's so respectful. I'm almost looking at her like, I don't buy it, because the Lucys I know, either you're a little monkey girl or you're really, really mean. But she's kind of changed it for her. So now, when I hear the name Lucy, I picture a very sweet little girl.
I have a family member. The name Bailey for a female.
All right. I thought you were saying dog.
Well, right.
Because to me, that's
I haven't told you if it's a dog or a person yet.
I'm going dog.
It's
Bailey?
a person.
It is a person.
Yeah.
And guess what I said as soon as that name was brought out? Like, they gave the kid a dog name.
Yeah, it is a dog's name.
Isn't that a dog name?
I'll picture a dog.
Oh, yeah, but I kind of know a female named Bailey, so I'm just picturing her now.
Yeah, it's still a dog's name. I mean, look, if you name your kid Spot.
I think I've known more Baileys that are dogs. That's why, like, even back to Lucy, I've known a lot of Lucy dogs.
That was a huge moment for dogs, man.
I keep saying Baileys, I start thinking coffee.
I've probably met 10 Beagle Lucys. I don't know why. For some reason, Lucy goes well with
why is
Beagle.
it the Beagles, man?
It always seems that
Especially
way.
with Beagles.
Good or bad, when I hear the name or word blank, I think of blank. When I hear the term Beagle, I think of misery.
Hello, Ben. Welcome to the men's room.
How's it going?
Hola!
So, my brother and I have always been comic book geeks since we were kids.
All right.
So, my last name is Parker.
Oh, no.
So, I, of course, was always a Spider-Man fan, as was he. So, we made a pact when we were like 12 that if he ever had a kid that was a boy, he had to name him Peter.
How did his wife feel about this?
She fought tooth and nail against it for a long time, and we actually had to convince her that it was a family thing. It was like a name that was passed down from the family somewhere along the lines. She bought it, agreed to name him Peter. After he was born and, everything was official, we actually told her that it was just a ruse to get her to do the name, so she kind of resents us a little bit for it now. But
she doesn't resent you a little bit. She hates your guts. But that said, his uncle was Ben, right?
Yeah.
And was it Ben Parker?
Uncle was Ben.
I'm assuming he was a Parker as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so you're already half in the Spider-Man game.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And now he's 6 and loves Spider-Man, so he thinks that he's going to be Spider-Man, which is the whole point of the...
Yeah, but I want you to remember something. You guys played this little prank on your brother's wife, and that is funny, and I admire you for that. I want you to keep one thing in mind, though. If the movies are to be believed, all right? This kid thinks he's going to grow up to be Spider-Man, but he's waiting for you to be murdered first. All he knows is that his Uncle Ben needs to be murdered by someone, and then he'll become Spider-Man.
But at least he knows that he's not the one to do it, so I don't have to worry about him doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, but he's going to wake up with a spider bite and think it's about ready to get
oh, my God, Uncle Ben,
time for
I think Uncle Ben better bring some of that rice.
Yeah, no doubt, right?
That's what you said Uncle Ben, and I was like, man, he makes delicious rice.
One of the worst names, and I truly believe this, man. If you're a black guy and your name is Tom, go by Thomas, go by Tommy. No, so I knew a guy named Tom. We later became friends. We did not start that way. That's a different story. But he had a sister, and sure enough, and when we were hating each other, like we couldn't be in the same room because we would just get to fisticuffs, right? I don't know what it was. We were mortal enemies for a while, and remember I found out his sister had a baby, and just as soon as I saw him, I'm like, oh, Uncle Tom, rolling. And it didn't matter what he said. I'm like, nah, bro, you're an Uncle Tom. And if you're black, this will make you angry.
It's not what you want to hear.
Oh, yeah. Trust me, he beat my ass plenty of times, but you're always Uncle Tom to me.
I never thought about it until you just said that.
Oh, dude, and it blew, even when I first met him, so I knew the guy for years, but even when I first met him, before he had become an uncle, literally become an uncle, I even thought, like, your parents named you Tom. Like, man, don't do it. Mm-hmm. Why would you name your kid Tom, especially if they have a sibling? And they did. And he became Uncle Tom, and as far as I know, he's still Uncle Tom.
But I worked when I was a janitor, one of the dudes on the crew, black dude, and he always went by Thomas.
Yeah, go by Thomas. And I'm telling you, at some point, he may have even shortened it to Tom. First day of school, came home and said, Mom, I'm going back to Thomas. That's a hard one, dude. Hello, Jonathan. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
So, my name's Jonathan, but just for the ease of it, I prefer to go by John. The only time I really get called Jonathan is when I'm around my grandparents or somebody's really, really pissed at me.
Did you call and tell Mike that your name was Jonathan?
Yes.
But that's not the name you prefer.
Yes, but anyway, I'm getting to it.
Okay.
So you called with the name that you don't like to tell us that you'd rather be called John than Jonathan, but you had us introduce you as Jonathan. Because Mike doesn't know. You could have said, hey, man, name's John. And then I would have said, hey, John. And I'd have felt better about greeting you. I would say, hey, Jonathan. And then the first thing is like, I don't like being called Jonathan. If you're not my grandparents or someone's angry at me.
Or am I in trouble? Yeah.
I thought maybe Mike was just playing a joke. Like he knows the guy doesn't want to be called Jonathan, so like online, whatever.
I would not put that past Mike. I'm not thinking about it.
Okay.
Well, sorry about that.
Hey, no worries, man. I mean, it's your name. It's how you want to be greeted. You know, it's a weird thing. People always ask, and I don't care. Do you want to go by Steve or Steve? Like, do not care. Yep. Do not care. It doesn't matter.
Well, the only one I get fired up is when people call me Theodore. And it's like, that's not my name. And they're like, yeah, it is. Like, no, Ted is short. It's a nickname, but it's not for Theodore.
I always like it when people correct you about truths about you. And
yeah.
It'll be your name, so you can say, that's not my name. And people say, yeah, it is. The one person I always trust to know the name is the person whose name it is. Mm-hmm. The other one is...
And the person who named them.
People, how tall are you? They'll say, oh, I'm 6'4". Now, you're not 6'4". By the way, I'm 6'4", and I know this because I'm me. You know, and you take a special, but they go, no, I have a cousin, Lenny. My cousin Lenny's 6'5".
And you're not as tall as he is.
Right, and you're like, dude, I'm telling you, either you're wrong about your cousin Lenny, you're not remembering this, but, like, I know how tall I am. Why would you ask me and then disagree?
What can cousin Lenny get you?
Oh, dude, anything but mostly
Lenny?
meats.
Lenny?
Meats.
Okay, all right. Good or bad, when I hear the name or word blank, I think of blank. 844-999-OLA. More of your calls coming up. You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Our question, Men's Room blank style, good or bad? When I hear the name or a word blank, I think of blank. We have a high school in Utah. And it's a brand new, beautiful high school, and they are going to be the Phoenix, or Phoenixes, if you try to pluralize that word. Ultimately, though, there is no such pluralization, phoenixes. That doesn't exist. It's actually pronounced phoenuses. So when they tried to start cheering, they were cheering for the phoenuses.
Go Phoenuses!
And that did not work out too well, so they have tried to figure out what they can do with that. So then we have a story in North Carolina about the SPCA saying that they are not going to label the dogs by breed anymore, if you go to the website or whatever, because they don't want to discriminate against dogs in your perceived notion of whatever that breed does, which is what that breed normally does, typically.
That's what the breed does. I mean,
if you buy a dog that needs to be run a lot, if you buy a dog that keeps its nose down, I mean,
right?
you kind of know the
breed
dog.
Will look, dogs are the product of eugenics, right? We bred them to be a specific way. So telling the breed, look, if you say pit bull, I understand that people get all upset, blah, 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 blah. These people don't need to adopt dogs. But people that get it, it's like the breed gives you a general indication, not to their temperament. But like you said, you've had beagles. What do they all have in common besides destroying your home? Like their nose is to the ground.
They've never seen anything in their life other than 2 inches directly in front of them and down.
You would want to know that kind of thing because it's different with my mutt dog where it's like, look, man, it's a shepherding mentality. So there's certain traits that it's not a bad dog, but she gets around another dog, she's going to round them up. She needs organization, but it's a trait of her breed.
If you need a dog that you feel can maybe protect you in the event that something would happen.
Get a pug, right?
I mean,
come on.
The breed will dictate what is probably the better dog for that occasion.
That's
if
all.
you have young children or whatever the deal is, there's always all kinds of different things. Do you have other pets in the house?
Yeah, that goes on. So the breed, it doesn't.
Is the breed smart, or did you just get a cute dog that's kind of dumb?
Right.
Exactly.
Well, yeah.
But they don't want you to know that stuff now. They want you to, the individual dog. And guess what? People still make friends with the individual dog. The breed goes a long way to what you're going to bring in your home.
Yeah. And I've been tired of animal names for so long that I promised myself that when I had cats of my own, dogs of my own, or whatever, that
you never promised yourself when I have cats of my own.
I do. And I'm going to name them.
No, but I'm saying, I bet back in the day you thought only about dogs.
And then the cat showed up.
Man, I've always been a cat guy. I hate to admit it, but it's not that I don't love dogs, but cats
But you haven't always had a cat.
Well, I've had cats, I think this is my fifth cat. So, I mean, more than dogs. I've had well, those dogs are beagles. They just keep dying.
Yeah.
I probably had 1, 2, 3 beagles.
Yeah, 3 that I can think of.
3, yeah. I'm done with them, man.
You gotta be.
Look, and when I hear beagle, I cringe. And not only that,
you hate them.
When I see people that have beagles, I want to go up to them and go, "Hey, bro, I'm sorry. I am sorry. I know that's a great dog and it's loyal, but man, those dogs are insane.
It's a pain in the ass.
Not only are they insane, they are incredibly intelligent, so that they can basically do whatever they want to do.
That makes them difficult.
I mean, it's tough. And if you don't know that, I mean, there's a reason that the beagles go to the lab a lot to get tested on, right? Because a lot of people can't handle them and send them back. Mm-hmm. I mean, when they're
not going to get readopted, so a lot of universities and scientific research, and guess why? Because they understand the breed.
Sure.
There's 3 types of people. People that don't really care about dogs that much, people that think beagles are cute, and people that have owned a beagle.
Yeah, exactly. And beagles are cute.
Or like my brother owned one. Close enough for me.
Honey had a tat underneath her ear. She had a number on underneath
her. Said mom.
No, it said like 675. She was a lab animal at that time. Good or bad, when I hear the name or word blank, I think of blank. 844-999-OLA.
Hello, Hemi. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hey, guys.
Hola. I'm just going to guess you're calling about your own name.
Yes, sir. In fact, what do you think I'm named after?
An engine.
Nah, I'm actually, it's a Maori name from New Zealand. It means James.
It means James?
Yeah. So
it doesn't mean like warrior. It doesn't mean son of God. It does not mean thrower of lightning. It means James.
No, it means James. When Captain James Cook discovered New Zealand for the English, that's what they named him, was Hemi. So Hemi's been passed down since. So
that guy was everywhere.
That's pretty cool. See, that's kind of cool. You go, all right, Captain Cook. Yeah. Not bad.
Are you? Did you grow up in New Zealand?
I did not. I grew up here in the States. My dad is from New Zealand.
Okay.
And,
that helps.
So growing up here, I got all the. Is your parents car fans, or do you have a Dodge? And I got all those questions all the time.
Did you ever write Dodge and tell them they should start calling it the Jimmy engine?
I should definitely do something about getting loyalties there or something there, because it happens every time I introduce myself and people get to know me. That's the first question that pops up.
Why don't you tell them like your grandfather or great grandfather came up with the concept of the Hemi engine, that it's a family thing?
Hey, that.
Do you know awesome. How have you not thought of? You know how many free drinks you would get?
Probably good enough to get sloshed every time.
You know what's going to happen? Someone's going to. You're going to lie about it. You're going to say, yeah, it's a family thing. I'm named after the Dodge engine. And someone's going to say, that's crazy. My father's from New Zealand. I don't know if you knew this. It also means James.
Mm-hmm. I'd prefer that cars have people names. I just think it would be more entertaining. You know what I mean? Like you got a commercial and it's like,
what car would you buy first?
The all-new 2018 Dodge Gary.
I wouldn't buy it. That's a minivan.
Gary?
Gary's a minivan.
Gary's a minivan?
Sure, yeah. I would buy the
Gary.
I'd buy the Tammy. It'd be a small pickup truck, but durable.
Oh yeah,
the Dodge Tammy.
It'll haul anything. Big load, small load.
Don't matter.
Good or bad, when I hear the name or word blank, I always think of blank.
The shenanigans continue on the Men's Room Radio Network.